The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour.
ChatGPT did become the world's most downloaded non-gaming app.
Literally the job of everyone in government to address the media and the public.
What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on Zandy Silva as the deputy PLP leader?
A community that can't feed itself is a community that doing.
What you may not know, though, is that Bermuda, we have a connection with Epstein, too.
Things that people are doing right, the youth are doing right, that is not being advertised enough.
When you see your access to U.S. dollars disappear, that's when you have a problem.
You've got a town in the UK with a similar sized population. This place absolutely outshines it.
It's Tuesday, the third day of March 2026. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC, Bermuda Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring we can pump through the radio airways with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamal Hartman, Taj Donville, Otterbridge, and we'll have a news break from Sloan Johnson in a bit. Happy Tuesday, Taj. How was your weekend?
It was good, busy, full of work, working on my dissertation. So,
Taj, I want to get in your pocket. Like, what are you studying?
I study public administration and global affairs. I'm doing a double master's.
Global affairs. Well, we have a conversation today. Yeah. Well, hey, man, keep it going because I don't miss school. You know, I remember when I was doing my master's and I had to do my dissertation. Can you take a guess what it was about?
Something to do with Bermuda, maybe?
It was going to be.
Okay.
And then at the last minute, I changed it to the evolution of radio. And pretty much that was in 2012. In 2026, that thesis actually became, well, in 2018, that thesis actually became my business plan.
Awesome.
Yeah. It was not the plan. It was just with satellite radio that came along. It was kind of, studying that and people's habits and so on. But that was the longest paper I ever wrote. I don't know where it is. It's in my storage somewhere, I think. But I wish you the best because it's woo.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I probably hadn't done that much research in my life. And I used to like writing, like especially because writing was always easier to me than math because I can. Yes, my way to agree.
Yeah, you know? I agree.
Taj guessed me. But hey, good stuff. We're gonna make sure that Taj comes out on top in that stuff. So looking forward. Hopefully, we're allowed to read his thesis one day and get into it because I just know it's gonna be beneficial. Maybe for Bermuda too. So yeah. Anyway, greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Brett Corday from Paradise Mobile. We're going to be discussing, Paradise Mobile entered the market in Bermuda within the last couple of years, and we'll be discussing some of the challenges they've had, but also some of the things that they have going on that is improving service in Bermuda. So looking forward to the conversation with Brett. I know a lot of people almost everyone has mobile service now, regardless of age. When I was young, you didn't have one unless you owned a business. Like truth. Now everyone has a mobile service, and less people have what they call them landlines. So interesting conversation coming up. The daily play is going to be a remember when today. So a bit of history, folks. And also don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Let's jump right into the conversation. Well, good morning, James Burgess says, good morning to the Daily Hour team show. I'm watching and listening most mornings. It's sunny. Yes, better morning than yesterday. Good morning, Bermuda. Good morning to you, Claire Warner. And Suzanne Ingham says, good morning, Hamel and Taj. She mentioned now, but hey, in Spanish, it would be Hamel.
Yes.
It's a super awesome turn it around Tuesday. I like that. PDH is in his house. Well, she said house. All right, folks, we didn't mention this at all yesterday. And I don't know if many Bermudians understand how important what we're discussing is. I think some people, oh, that has nothing to do with Bermuda. Question of the morning: how do you believe the government of Bermuda should respond to what's happening in the Middle East? How do you believe the government of Bermuda should respond to what's happening in the Middle East? Why do you think that should be a topic? Well, let me just say this. Bermuda can't control what happens in the Middle East, but we can control how prepared we are for the knock-on effects. Fuel prices, freight costs, supply chains, travel demand, and financial compliance. Here are some practical ways I believe the government and the wider community should respond based on what's being reported about escalation and market disruption. So what Bermuda should do now, probably, treat this like a cost of living risk event. Markets are already reacting and oil spiking when supply disruption fears. Bermuda should assume fuel and shipping costs may rise and plan accordingly. That's the message that the government should be sending out. Energy shock planning for Balco and consumers. We forever are complaining about the price of utilities and electricity. If this conflict widens and energy infrastructure or routes remain threatened, crude freight it can linger, right? So maybe the government should ask Balco or the regulator for a transparent scenario plan, best case, expected worst case, and how quickly rate changes flow, expend short-term targeted relief if prices jump, supply chain and food security moves. This is a lot of this stuff that I'm going over. These are issues we are already facing. Mm-hmm. But it really means the government should get out in front probably and just tell people, look, this is happening far away from Bermuda. But it's things like this, when they happen, you find out how global actually is. Mm-hmm. So shippers may reroute or insurance premiums may surge. Island logistics get hit fast. So immediately we must audit critical inventories, fuel, essential meds, key food staples, pre-negotiate contingency freight arrangements, and prioritize essential imports if capacity tightens. Encourage retailers to flag high-risk lines. Get them to do it early. Don't wait for shelves to be empty. Financial services, sanctions and compliance readiness. Escalations often trigger new sanctions, tighter screening, higher compliance risk for maybe banks, insurers, international business. Issue a joint advisory with financial regulators on heightened sanctions. Work with law enforcement. We all know tourism and airlift will be impacted. And we've been for decades, trying to get that back. Travelers become more nervous during this time. Mm-hmm. The last thing I'll say, the reason I think that government should communicate a plan or respond in some of the ways I suggested, public communication builds trust, not fear. To me, the pandemic was global, and so are things like this. You just feel it differently. And if we could have daily press conferences about a pandemic, I think we should have regular communication about the impact this may have on us and not wait until things get bad. So what Bermudians and businesses can do, households, be cautious. Do not panic buy. Taj, what was it? Toilet paper during the pandemic?
Yes, toilet paper, Scott.
Be reasonable. Don't panic buy. Businesses probably hedge risk where responsible. Inventory planning, right? Communicate price changes transparently. Zach from Lindo's done an awesome job of that. When the was it the Suez Canal? I think that's how you pronounce it. Was
Yes,
blocked,
yeah.
and he came on this show and said, "Look, he explained transparently why that impacts prices and community. Keep discourse calm. Overseas conflict can inflame divisions fast." So, audience, again, you may not think it has anything to do with Bermuda, but I just went through a list of things. So how do you believe the government of Bermuda should respond to what's happening in the Middle East? This is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Taj, what you got?
Listen, I think that the government needs to demonstrate leadership. And I think this is a key example and a key opportunity for them to demonstrate that if they are serious about independence/sovereignty, then this is what it looks like. Responding to situations like this, especially when you're a small island, because you're going to feel the effects the hardest. I mean, that's why other Caribbean leaders have spoken on this and spoken on other wars like Israel and Palestine, Russia, Ukraine. Our government has largely stayed silent on those issues. Even from a moral position, they've stayed silent. Which I think is interesting, but it also doesn't demonstrate that they are ready to be a sovereign nation, because being a sovereign nation means getting involved in these things. And to add to your list, I think one thing that the government should do is increase focus on mental health. These types of scenarios undoubtedly affect people's mental health, especially them being added on to everything that's already going on in the world. With all the wars that are already going on, the cost of living, culture wars, etc. I think there definitely needs to be an increased support on mental health for Bermudians and Bermudians who have family living in these affected regions, particularly. Like, what is our plan to look after our people during these types of events?
That's a good point, Taj, and I say that because I'm going to take it even at something else. This is happening in Arab nations where Muslim populations. How are the local Muslim population dealing with this? Mental health is something I didn't consider, and this is why we're a team, because it is important. People may already feel like they're discriminated against, and now they're watching people with the same beliefs and same life go through this. This is something that I really hope Bermudians are ears wide open and eyes wide open, because it may be happening far away in places that we will never visit or live or be, but the world becomes very local in situations like this. Let's go to the audience again. What are your thoughts, audience? How do you believe the government of Bermuda should respond to what's happening in the Middle East? Dr. Anthony Richardson says international matters will always affect Bermuda. Bermuda should bank/store oil and gas locally and or on a sister island. Something that Todd said, though, is you hear other leaders from other small jurisdictions speaking on this. I would love to know, outside of the government maybe sending a press release saying wanting Bermudians to hunker down or get out. I would love to hear. I mean, who's our foreign affairs minister? Is it like,
we don't have one, because foreign affairs are the responsibility of the UK government.
Right. So we have a Home Affairs, which is Minister Alexa Lightbourne.
But the Premier would be the default.
The Premier, right. So it would make sense for the Premier. And I know the government of Bermuda did share what the UK said, right? The foreign affairs. But I would love for the Bermuda government, although we are colony territory, whatever you choose to call us, I would love for him to show leadership in his time to, just get ahead of it. And I know someone made a cheeky comment on social media yesterday talking about, oh, wonder how those Bermuda Middle East relationships are pending out or so on. This isn't a time to be cheeky. This is a time where our lives can literally change with a snap of the finger because of what's happening there. We are already in a crisis when it comes to cost of living and utility bills. Like, we literally are in a crisis. Let's go back to the audience. We have James Burgess said they should get involved. We have gas vehicles, etc. Well, not necessarily get involved, but plan. Like, as Dr. Anthony Richardson saying here, having a plan will help ease fears rather than being panicked. They're being panicked. A run of goods and or on banks, both are not good, can tank Bermuda's economy. Indeed. Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, the government should communicate a plan, full stop. Can anyone not sitting around the cabinet table articulate where we are going or want to go? And how will this conflict impact that plan? That's it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm going to put this on the opposition as well. Like, I know that it's budget time. You know what's crazy about it is this war, this Middle East action can make that budget irrelevant.
Yes.
You get me?
Yes. Especially the plans around cost of living, because you mentioned the Suez Canal earlier, but there's a strait a little bit further down the Red Sea called the Strait of Hormuz. I can't pronounce it correctly, but that's controlled mainly by Iran, and it's between Iran and I think Qatar or Kuwait, one of the two. And Iran has basically that's their big gun. Like their big gun is not missiles. Their big gun is closing that strait, because all trade, because that strait is before the Suez Canal, all trade in the Mediterranean from the Middle East will have to now go around Africa, the entire continent, rather than being able to go through the strait. And ships have already stopped there because Iran was bombing some of these ships that were crossing. So there was already a backup of ships waiting to go through the strait. So it will definitely affect shipping lanes and goods, price of goods for sure.
I do wonder, just a yes or no audience, are you concerned at all? Like yes or no? Like Taj, are you concerned
about it in general?
Yeah, what's happening in the Middle East? Like, are you concerned, or is like, no, I'm just gonna go back to school today? Like, are you concerned at all?
Yes, I'm concerned. One, because I have lived in cities, and cities are notorious targets for terrorist action. And if you don't know, Iran particularly is famous for proxy action. So this is for years and years what analysts are saying we will see now in retaliation for them killing the Ayatollah is terrorist attacks, car bombings, marathon bombings, like the Boston Marathon.
What do they call them? Sleeper cells or something?
Yes, exactly. This is the tactic of Iran. And so we're going to see that all around the world, in Europe, in the UK, in the US, everywhere. So I think that's troubling and scary, because you never know where you will be, and if you'll be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. Let's go back to the audience. We've got Dr. Anthony Richardson says Bermuda government needs to reach out to the UK and Canadian Air Force governments to ask if they can help airlift Bermudians out of harm's way. Okay. Hopefully that's been done if it hasn't already. We've got, he goes on to say, Dr. Anthony Richardson, we have several Bermudians living and working in Bahrain and Qatar, and I think the UAE as well.
Yeah,
which
Dubai, Abu Dhabi, definitely.
Yeah. We've got Ms. Ellen Kate Horton says, we were due to travel to Egypt via Doha, that's Qatar, tomorrow. We received notice on the day of the attack that our flight was canceled. I cannot imagine, had the strike taken place a few days later, the U.S. and Israel are warmongers. Well, Ms. Horton, I'm sorry about your trip. I really am, but I'm glad that it did not happen while you were there.
Yeah.
I could only imagine the terror that you would have seen before your eyes. So that is a positive. Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, I heard this yesterday. While not all oil is Iranian, a critical choke point, the Straits of Hormuz, I think I'm pronouncing it right as well, transports over 20% of global oil, making Iran a major factor in global supply security. Google, Charles says at the end. And that's what Taj was touching on. And this is why the government, and when I say the government, every elected official, appointed senator, there needs to be a plan. Like for me, I know they're debating the budget, but having read what I read this weekend, I would say, you know what? Let's get together. Let's put the budget debate on hold for a second and come up with a plan. And this plan shouldn't just be for now, but it should be an evolving plan. That's how I think government should work. I believe government should work to always, friend of mine, Charles said it before. There should be a working plan beyond political party.
And in our current state, the government, the responsibility cannot just be shoved onto our elected government. The government has the constitutional mandate to deal with foreign affairs. And so even if the premier or the elected government don't say anything, it'll be good to see. This is a prime opportunity for the governor to show some leadership as well, and some care for the community beyond just the statutory role of the governor.
Great. Tamika Miranda says, what about the impact on CIT? It can definitely be impacted. I actually thought Taj was going to mention that. That's why I didn't mention it in my words. What about that, Taj? Because that's the big thing. Like, that's the big smile on Premier David Brett's face throughout the budget, right? This can have a significant impact in the thing that we were just smiling about 2 weeks ago.
I don't know. I think the impact on CIT will be low to moderate because it's an OECD policy. So those are basically the high income countries around the world. And if anything, I think it will be affected moderately by if the profits of some companies go down. But I don't think it's going to be that significant of an impact. But
all righty. Dr. Anthony Richardson, Suzanne Ingham says, I am concerned about the attacks. The shipping will affect us too. Indeed, the Strait of Hormuz is a bottleneck, allowing Iran to choke off oil tankers entering and leaving that area where a large amount of the world oil comes from. Not just oil. Dr. Anthony Richardson goes on to say the current budget will have to be revised. This is why Bermuda needs to save money for rainy days. CIT, this Iran crisis is one of those rainy days. Indeed. Audience, the question of the morning, again, how do you believe the government of Bermuda should respond to what's happening in the Middle East? And I'm glad that Taj said it. I was hoping you all would catch on to it, that this goes beyond the elected officials and appointed. We do have a governor. We are a territory of the UK. They did put something out. The Bermuda government shared it, but we are self-governed in some respect. And my hope is that the government of Bermuda, and when I say the government, the combination of elected officials, all 36, and appointed senators, can have a meeting to plan for this, because it's no telling how long this will take. The U.S. president said 4 weeks. Others saying it could be longer. Some people have said, oh, this is, there are going to be some sleeper cells, and it can have a real long-term impact. I just don't want Bermuda to get caught with its pants down. We are already, the things that can impact us, we're already dealing with challenge. We're having challenges with it. The cost of living, the price of oil and electricity. We're already dealing with that. Multiply that by what, Tosh?
Easily 20.
Let's go through these final few comments, folks. This is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Charles A. Chefs II, he says, can the government or governor tell us how many Bermudians are in that area?
They should be working on that now.
Questions.
They should be working on that now. The London office should be coordinating that now as we speak.
Well, let's give them some credit. Let's see if they do. And I've been concerned since Mr. Trump got back in office, and none of the U.S. allies would keep him in check, says Sean Smith. Yeah, very concerning. But precedent has been set by previous presidents who done similar things. Let's just be honest. It's a system thing, and this is not in defense of the U.S. president, let me be clear, but it's a system thing, not an individual. Folks, let's show some love to Titan Express and Secure. Keep your comments and questions coming, and then we'll go to the news break with Sloan Johnson this morning.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Titan Express delivers safe, professional, and reliable transportation and tours across the island. From island tours to cultural experiences, they set the standard. And Secure is your go-to for property management, waste management, and residential and commercial services. Visit securebda.com. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is their commitment to you.
All righty, let's go to Sloan for your Daily Hour news break.
Good morning, Daily Hour family. I'm Sloan Johnson, and this is your Daily Hour news break brought to you by Peoples. First, some reassuring news following a late-night collision last Friday. A 59-year-old Pembroke man was injured in a single-vehicle motorcycle crash around 10:15 p.m. on Cedar Avenue near Angle Street. Initial concerns suggested a possible head injury after he reportedly struck a curb. He was taken to King Edward Memorial Hospital for treatment, and thankfully his injuries were later deemed less serious than first feared. Traffic was disrupted for a time while the scene was processed, and the Bermuda Police Service has thanked both the member of the public who reported the incident and the witness who came forward. Now to a major appointment that impacts every single one of us. His Excellency, Governor Andrew Murdoch, has announced that Gretchen Tucker has officially been appointed Bermuda's new Privacy Commissioner, effective March the 2nd. She is the first Bermudian and the first woman to hold the post. Ms. Tucker brings strong credentials to the role, including her IAPP Certified Information Privacy Management designation and years of experience advising across the commercial, public, and third sectors. Her work has focused heavily on aligning governance with individual rights under laws like the Personal Information Protection Act, better known as PIPA. As PIPA continues to shape how personal information is handled in Bermuda, this appointment signals a continued commitment to protecting your data and strengthening public understanding of privacy rights in today's digital, but not so small world. And finally, a firm statement from the Director of Public Prosecutions, Cindy Clark, who has made it clear that threats against prosecutors and members of the judiciary will not be tolerated. Following two separate incidents, one involving a Crown Counsel and the other involving a magistrate, individuals have been remanded into custody. The DPP emphasized that threats against judicial officers are not just personal attacks. They undermine the rule of law itself. The message was direct. Our courts must remain places where disputes are settled by evidence and reason, not intimidation. The safety and integrity of our justice system is non-negotiable. Ending with today's weather, conditions are expected to be cloudy, with a high near 21 degrees Celsius or 69 degrees Fahrenheit, and a low around 17 degrees Celsius or 63 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be east-northeasterly, and relative humidity is sitting around 70%. It's one of those classic Bermuda days, not quite beach weather, not quite sweater weather, but perfect for a light jacket in the morning and sunglasses by the afternoon. So if your hair, like mine, expands a little bit, blame the humidity, not yourself. That's your Daily Hour News Break, brought to you by Peoples. I'm Sloan Johnson. Now back to the studio.
Thanks so much, Sloan. Yeah, my hair definitely expands with the humidity. I took that personal. Charles, what you got for Days of the Year for us?
Okay, so today is Simplify Your Life Day, which I think is so important in today's world. It's all about rest and recharging. So my question to the audience is, how do you rest and recharge?
Oh, go to the spa, got a massage, man.
Okay.
Seriously. Oh, I started doing stretch sessions. Juggling Jay, he comes to Atlanta to go to like stretch. So he introduced me to it last year and it changed my life. Those who know I was having hip issue. So I used to go to the gym every morning before the show. And so as I got older, you know, they start saying, no, well, you have to give yourself rest days and so on. So stretch and massages are my thing. But yeah, audience, what do you do? What do you do, Todd?
Well, for me, it's about spending time off social media, one, and spending time with friends in person. That's really crucial to my recharging.
Okay. Well, let us know, audience. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with our guests for the day. We've got Brett Corday. This is a conversation because I heard something about service. I heard that people are less likely to change their cell phone service despite a new company entering the market with better prices and better service. And I was like, why would they stay loyal? But that's what I heard. I wonder if Brett has some information on that. That'd be interesting. All right, folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in about 3 minutes, 34 seconds. Stick with us.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Take a look at our workbook for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Nautical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
What lasts isn't what you buy, but what it becomes. With the HSBC MasterCard credit card, every spend quietly adds to a story shaped by intention and offers what matters most. Support that meets you where you are. Protection that preserves what you choose. Confidence for the unexpected. Peace of mind wherever your story leads. Start your next chapter. Use your card today. HSBC is licensed to conduct banking and investment business by the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
What if the age that really matters isn't the one on your ID? You probably know your chronological age, the number of candles on your last birthday cake. But there's another kind of age that may be even more important, your biological age. This reflects how old your body truly is at the cellular level. It is influenced by your genes, your environment, and the choices you make every day. Two people can both be 40 years old on paper, but one may have the body of a healthy 30-year-old while the other is biologically closer to 50. The difference? Lifestyle choices on nutrition, sleep, stress, exercise, and exposure to toxins. That means you have some control over your biological clock, and that's exactly what makes it so powerful. Because when it comes to aging, it's not just about living longer, it's about living better. Want to know your predicted biological age today? Download the free Carrier Genetics app and fill in the lifestyle questionnaire.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show, Touchdown Villa Bridge. I'm Jamal Hartman. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5 for ensuring we can pump through the radio areas with these most important community conversations. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, we've got a very special guest. Without further ado, we've got Brett Corday joining us from Paradise Mobile. Let's give him a warm TDH welcome. Can you hear the folks cheering? Just making sure. Brett, good morning.
Morning.
We've got to ask before we jump into anything.
Sure.
How do you simplify? Like, what do you do? What do you do to get away? Simplify your life.
Oh, mate. I have an app called Insight Timer on my phone. It's mainly for meditation, mindfulness, something I do in the morning when I stretch out. It's free for most users, but a little 10-minute reset first thing, like you were talking about, stretching, massage, all that. Yeah, man, it's got to be part of the daily routine.
Absolutely. Man, I love that people do this and meditate and so on. Oh, first off, welcome. I believe this is your first time on the show. For those who don't know,
thank you.
Tell the audience a bit about yourself, your background, what it is that you do.
Sure. So my name is Brett Corday. My title at Paradise is Chief Revenue Officer, which means I'm responsible for retail, corporate, sales strategies, both in Bermuda and internationally beyond. I moved back to Bermuda full-time. My father's Bermudian. I was raised in the States. Started working in technology. Did a stint at Digisoft for a number of years. I got my telco experience there. And then I was also the VP of sales at OneCom for a number of years. So I had a lot of experience in telecommunications in Bermuda, technology, sales, account management. At a certain point, family friends notified me that Paradise Mobile was coming to Bermuda. And naturally, I was skeptical. There's a lot of folks that come to Bermuda that say they're going to change, they're bringing a new technology, they're going to flip the script. And I said, you know what? I'll take the meeting. Let's see what these guys are all about. And the rest is history. Sorry again. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, that's a great trajectory. Like, you've got the experience of the other companies, and with Paradise Mobile entering a competitive telecom market in Bermuda, what was the opportunity that was seen, and what gap were they trying to fill for consumers and businesses?
Sure. So it's multifaceted. Primarily, and first, it was a technological chance for Bermuda to put themselves on the map yet again, to be innovative. Paradise Mobile launched a network that was an idea that went into proof of concept that is now a fully commercialized offer that's being rated as top in Bermuda on multiple levels. So it was first that from a technology perspective. Secondly, from a cost perspective, we knew we could do it faster. We knew we could do it for less money than the other guys who were operating the legacy networks. And that was going to translate into better pricing for Bermudians. But most importantly, it was about customer experience. We knew we could provide a more trusted and better experience for Bermudians when it came to their telecommunication services. And we're starting with mobile service, as you know.
Indeed. Real quickly, audience, by a show of hands, can you just let us know in the audience, who do you have as your cell phone provider? Just let us know. You're not going to offend Brett. He's just going to see an opportunity. All right. So let us know who you have as your cell phone provider in the audience when you have a chance. Sorry, Taj, go ahead.
No problem. So every market comes with entry challenges. What are some of the biggest hurdles Paradise Mobile faced in its early days, and how would you say you've overcome them?
First big hurdle for the team was COVID. The license was approved by the regulatory authority in 2019, but things globally slowed down for a number of years to the point where we weren't able to officially launch the network until 2023. But the biggest challenge in Bermuda was trust. Bermudians were skeptical of a newcomer, and especially in the category of telecommunications. People pay a lot for the telco. They don't necessarily know what they get for it. They're kind of confused by the plans. So when we did a lot of marketing research in the early days, people said, "Oh, better value, less money. Sure, I'm coming over right away." But that didn't translate right away. We had to earn the trust of people over time, but with a better experience. And honestly, that was probably the biggest hurdle in the early days when we first launched.
Right. So you touched on it briefly in your response just now, but for consumers comparing providers, what truly sets Paradise Mobile apart, whether it's pricing, technology, customer experience, or flexibility?
Pricing's one. I can guarantee you that we've got some of the best prices in Bermuda. We also have fixed rates, which means our price that you see is always the ceiling, never the floor. So your bill is the same every single month, which was a new idea 2 years ago. We also talk about customer support experience. We have an all local team of customer support or customer excellence brand ambassadors. When you call in, you get somebody here that's local that knows probably who you are in some cases. They know where you are, they know the problems that you're facing, and they treat you with respect and solve your problem, which unfortunately, because of the status quo in telco in Bermuda, people have sort of become accustomed to, I don't want to call in because I'm going to get transferred overseas, or I don't want to go to the office. I'm going to have to wait an hour to get something fixed. So simplicity, we're making things much more simple for Bermudians to manage. And now we're saying you're in control of your telco. So that was a new idea 2 years ago.
So what has the response been like from consumers?
Oh, it's been amazing. For the first time, Q3 of last year, we appeared in the omnibus survey as an actual provider. So there was enough people in that statistical sample that were Paradise customers They've rated us as most reliable on the island. They've rated us as best. They give us a 100% score for customer service. They've rated us best value for money, and most trusted in terms. So the terms that we put out to you are, we are who we say we are, and then every single month we actually deliver on that promise. And we're also now rated as top roaming option. So when you're abroad as well, we got the best product for Bermudians as well. We know people love to travel, of course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the business side, how is Paradise Mobile approaching business to business relationships differently in Bermuda's corporate and SME landscape?
It's actually not all that different. I told you I used to be the VP of sales on the corporate side for a number of years, and for some reason, legacy telco likes to split retail and corporate, and they're distinct different lines of business, and they have different plans and different pricing for some reason for the same services. So we actually don't treat businesses all that differently. They still have access to the same plans. Where they do benefit is that they get volume discounts automatically. So the more you consume as a business, the more you save, which works the same way for your family plans as well. But what we've really given businesses is the flexibility. So right now, if you have a business and you're with one of the legacy providers, you're in a 3-year contract, a 5-year contract, whatever it is. If you're out of contract, they're always trying to get you back into contract. Whereas we don't have contracts. We said consume as much as you want, scale up, scale down, move at the speed of your business, and we're here to support you in that. We don't think we have to lock you into a contract to prove that we're a great provider.
That no contract thing is very attractive. Yeah, it's very attractive. We did ask the audience, Brett, and keep it coming, audience, who they had as their self-provider. And
I like this, yeah.
One, Dr. Anthony Richardson, Digicel. One, Mark Arthur, Travel Charlie, Digicel. One, Penny Friedman. One, Stacey. One, Donna Hall. So seems like you did a great job at your former employer. You got a lot of one. We've got some Paradise. We've got Michelle Grant says Paradise, but I haven't moved my other account yet. We also got Charles.
Okay.
And he says Paradise Mobile, I've been with them since the early days. The thing that separates them, in my opinion, is their customer service. Speak to it, because you mentioned that it's pretty much all Bermudian. Speak to the why that's so important for a new business, especially.
So, first off, we intentionally hired local talent, specifically local talent that had particularly not worked in telco before. I was sort of the exception to that rule. We wanted young, we wanted hungry, and we wanted folks that had probably been promoted multiple times in roles where they had been before, and were still hungry for more. Because we are a startup at the end of the day. We need folks to wear multiple hats. Intentionally, we removed the barriers from billing to technical to the actual account management, so that person who's on the phone with you right at that moment, again, not only are they local, not only do they understand who you are, not only do they treat you with respect, solve your problems, but they have the ability, they're enabled to make it right on the spot. If we need to apply a credit, it's hundreds of dollars on the spot. They don't need to go ask a manager, fix your bill, whatever, changes something on your device and one of the technical systems in the background. They can do it all, which is a really amazing differentiator when someone hops on the phone and what they're used to hearing is, oh, press 1 for this, press 6 for that. And you have to kind of jump between all these teams. We just have one person and they see you all the way through, which is really differentiating us. If you look at, say, like our Google reviews, you'll see what people are saying about their customer experience with Paradise.
Indeed. We've got Suzanne Ingham says she has one and live, but very interested in Paradise. Do seniors get discounts? She's asking.
Yeah. So provided that you're bringing your family over, we've got family discounts for anybody that comes over. Yeah.
Okay. Charles H. Jeffs II, he says, I thought their offer for a free month of service during a hurricane last year was brilliant. Speak to us about why this is so much more about community than it is about business.
Yeah, it's about staying connected to your loved ones when we have an outage. We know that the legacy copper network is no longer available. So if you had folks that were used to picking up the phone during a hurricane, even if the power was out, there's a chance you might not get to them anymore. We also realized it was a place for us to showcase the resiliency of our network. We talked a lot about the technology. I don't want to go too deep on it, but essentially, when the power goes out, people lose internet at home, everybody jumps onto their mobile network, and it really bogs down, slows down, or just stops working. One of the benefits of a new network like Paradise is that it can scale to meet demand in the background. So no matter how many people come onto that site, you're going to have a great experience. So during an outage like a hurricane, we were able to add thousands of new customers at that time to try the service, to be useful for them, to show them that we do want to be a part of the community and ingratiate ourselves with them, sort of hat in hand. So we're always looking for opportunities where we can do things like that. If anybody has, sponsorships, charities, things like that, where we can be useful for you in some way, we find that's the best way for us to introduce ourselves to the Bermudian public, rather than we're the best price, we're the fastest, we're the best feature, benefit, whatever it is. We want to actually be useful for you.
Alrighty. Tamara Donnell says Paradise Mobile has removed my travel anxiety. Same bill, no matter how far I roam, which makes for excellent budgeting. Bermudians, as you said, love to travel, to offer in this roaming. Before you head out, just let people know a couple things. One, where you're located, and two, what process if they wanted to transfer over.
So we're located primarily online 24/7. You can sign up for service in under 5 minutes, depending on how fast you can type. You can transfer your number from your existing provider. We handle the whole process for you. You don't have to do anything. You don't lose your service at any given point. And I was so happy to hear that we removed anxiety for that caller. I didn't catch her name, but I took a screenshot of that. That's the feeling that we want you to feel while you're traveling. You leave, you go to your destination, your service works flawlessly. But then when you come home, you don't have that, because I've had that myself. I'm on my way home, I'm on the flight home, and I'm like, oh my God, is it going to be a $400 bill, $1,000 bill for my roaming? What have I done when I was away? But you don't have that anymore, because you now have talk, text, and data while you're away, and it's all for a fixed price. So really, really happy to see that.
All right. And looking ahead, how does Paradise Mobile plan to grow while continuing to deliver value? And what can Bermudians expect from the company?
And sorry, I forgot to mention, we're on 24 Reed Street. That's our main retail location. That's where we get a lot of our customers coming to see us. We just built the website 24/7, so you can have that option. But where is Paradise going? How do we grow? How do we scale and keep the value? We do it by keeping it simple. We're trying to keep things as lean as possible, as simple as possible, and adding more quality services as we go. When you look at the current landscape, there's a lot of confusing plans and options out there. As long as we stick to our script and we continue to be useful for Bermudians, I see a bright future for us where we can continue to provide value for Bermuda and beyond.
Brett, thank you so much. Ms. McKellen says, I'm very pleased.
I love that.
My Paradise service. Thank you so much. And again, I think last week, Taj and I, we were discussing how, two companies merged, and then, a situation of monopolies. With what Paradise is doing, it's actually entering the market to give people more choice, which, if to Taj's point last week, that would be capitalism that celebrated. So thank you for giving people another option. And thank you for stopping by this morning. We look forward to more conversations, because there's something else you guys did recently, a big agreement with the government of Bermuda. So hopefully we can have that discussion soon. But thanks much. I know you got to run, but have a wonderful day.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Brett Corday, Paradise Mobile. Folks, if you learned something, if you found that helpful, if you're streaming with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, or Instagram, give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We're going to take our final break, and we'll have a daily play for you when we get back. All right? Stick with us. Don't go anywhere.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda business starts here.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazok Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Every space has a message, whether it's a store, a government office, or a doctor's waiting room. With Store Tunes Radio, transform your environment with customized music and professional messaging that keeps people informed, engaged, and at ease. Easy to use, built for organizations of every kind. Powered by Bermuda Communications Group. Store Tunes Radio, the soundtrack to better customer experiences. Visit StoreTunesRadio.com to learn more.
The Office of Consumer Affairs protects residents by promoting fairness, safety, and transparency in the marketplace across the island. We investigate complaints, manage recalls, educate the public, and enforce consumer protection laws to ensure fair treatment for all. Our team supports consumers by resolving disputes, providing guidance, and helping residents understand their rights and responsibilities. We work with businesses to encourage compliance, ethical practices, and trust, helping create a stable and competitive economy. Through education, enforcement, and outreach, Consumer Affairs helps keep Bermuda's marketplace safe, informed, and accountable.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to Brett Corday, Paradise Mobile folks. Again, please, if you appreciated the discussion this morning and the conversation, please make sure whatever you may be streaming at, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, or Instagram, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Make sure everyone you know has access to these most important community conversations as possible. All right, folks. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House, HSBC Bermuda, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring we can do this with you on a regular basis. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, Taj, audience, are you ready? It's a Remember When.
Let's hear it.
I don't know, Taj, because you were born in like probably 2000 something, right?
2000, yeah.
Oh my goodness. So you're like one of those people who think someone born in the 1900s is like elderly, huh? I can't believe it. You carry yourself, very mature. I was actually joking when I said that. You really were born in 2000 something.
Yeah, I was born in 2000, exactly.
Oh, my goodness. All right. I was really shocked, folks. So anyway, here's your daily play. The daily play today. Here we go. It's a Remember When Bermuda question. Can you hear the music first? You can hear the music. Okay. All right. Here we go. What company was the first to provide cellular service in Bermuda?
I would know. But it's got to be, maybe it's One Communications, whatever that predecessor was. On it.
This is an old Bermudian right here.
Yeah.
This is I mean, not to age anyone. Not to age anyone.
A BTC, yeah, I remember that.
When they say telco. So telco stood for telephone company.
Yeah.
Correct name was BTC, Bermuda Telephone Company. So I thought it would have been cable and wireless as well, but it was not. It was telco. It was BTC, Tanya Cheeseman, and Sankofa Bermuda. So the answer is BTC Mobility. The cellular service of the Bermuda Telephone Company was the initial provider of cellular services in Bermuda, and then the first to enter the market to compete with them in 1999 was Cellular One, which is today a combination of M3 and One Communications. So yeah, that's it. That's it. I don't know what more to say. Well, Charles is saying BTC is now Digicel, correct? Well, it depends on how you look at it, because it was not M3 part of telephone company at one point. So it's weird. It's like I looked at something last night. The New Orleans Pelicans were formerly known as the New Orleans Hornets, but the Charlotte Hornets. It's like if you look at them, it's like, well, why aren't they looked at as the same franchise at one point? It's just a confusing, ridiculous thing. So no, it's not the same thing, Charles. Not the same thing. All right, let's wrap it up, though. Let's wrap it up. That was a good conversation with Brett. But before we got there, we were discussing what we believe the government of Bermuda should do as a response to what's happening in the Middle East. And Taj, what's your final words on that and the conversation with Brett?
My final word on that is the government has to show leadership in times like this. I mean, the government likes to shy away, I think, from these types of crises, even from when they happen locally. I think you have constantly called for the premier to speak on the road traffic accidents and the gang violence, and we haven't heard anything on that. So I think this is an opportunity for Jason or whoever else is thinking about running for leadership to demonstrate it to the people of Bermuda by showing up as a leader, speaking on it, even if it's from a moral perspective rather than a policy perspective. Bringing in the Minister of Health to talk about mental health, particularly in these times. I think that's what the government should and could do now, immediately, soon.
Indeed. And Brett?
I think, that conversation, I was blown away, because for me, that is long overdue for Bermuda. And it's no secret that Digicel and Cell One have had monopolies on the market, respectively. And Digicel particularly is notorious for making more profits in Bermuda than they do in other regions that have way more population, way more people. And so I've always thought they need a competition or stronger regulation from the government. It seems like competition it's on its way, and it seems to me like a no-brainer to pitch.
I'll say this much, just my final words on the discussion regarding how the government should respond. I'll just echo what I said earlier. My hope is that everyone elected and appointed who is responsible for passing legislation and debating policy will have a committee meeting or come together to prepare Bermudians for what may come. But to Charles H. Jefferson II's point, we should already have a plan in place for stuff like this, right? So that should be public. It should be highlighted and emphasized to the people of Bermuda. So my hope is that they can come together and share a plan with the Bermudian people on how we will survive and get by during times like this. As far as the conversation with Brett, look, I don't have a local cell phone provider. And I just believe that it's almost become a right for people to have access. In certain jurisdictions, it's a right for people to have internet access, right? I think it's a right to have quality service if you're paying for something, right? Minimum. That said, this is an example of why competition is necessary in areas like health insurance. That while I was listening to him speak, All I heard was this is exactly the opposite of what's happened with the health insurance space.
Yeah.
This is why, folks, if you learn nothing else today, that conversation with Brett wasn't to demean competitors. It was actually what can be done to improve the service and give people options.
Yeah.
This is probably what we need in the healthcare sector.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an expert, but I do enough listening to try to comprehend what's being shared. Taj, do you have any daily inspiration for us?
Yes. You don't have to be an expert to know that competition drives innovation. That's one of the basic principles of economics.
Mm-hmm.
But my daily inspiration is take up space, be risky in your observations, be a moron, decide you ain't never going back to enslavement, take a nap to receive a word from your ancestors, be subversive, embrace radical love that is outside the confines of tradition, be suspicious of everything they taught you, carry a research notebook, be curious, resist, and rest. That's a quote from Rest is Resistance, a manifesto from Trisha Hershey.
I love that. On my status on WhatsApp, my quote is, question everything, fear nothing. That's what I heard in that, folks. Question everything. Yeah. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and Big Love to Hot 1075 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Taj Donville Bridge. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.